Cameron Stewart of Locked On Baylor. Newest projections have Shedeur Sanders as the number 1 pick in the NFL draft in 2025. Now, this has been met with pushback because everyone likes to hate the kid. I don't really know why. We watched him play against Baylor, a pretty good defense. He did well enough to win. Hail Mary, go win the game.
Himself, basically, yeah.
Really, the only time that we saw him, maybe 2 games we saw him just really lay an egg, were that Nebraska game and the BYU game in the bowl. Outside of that, he played. He did things that were Heisman-esque, things that you want in a possible franchise quarterback. Reminds me a lot of C.J. Stroud at Ohio State. When he was picked by the Texans, most people were like, oh, this guy is not that good. And
they missed out on Bryce Young.
Yeah, it's like, oh, his IQ test was low.
The Wonderlick, yeah.
Yeah.
Not Vince Young low, but low.
Like, he's not smart enough to be an NFL quarterback, and then he steps in day 1 and makes the Texans a contender. I think Shedeur Sanders could be that. The Big 12 is about to land not just the Heisman Trophy winner, but the number 1 overall draft pick, and they're 2 different guys. Granted, same team, but that team went 9-4 this season, 9-3 in Big 12 play, didn't make the conference title. This isn't a matter of Texas, per se, winning the Big 12, having a Biletnikoff winner, the Heisman winner, and a different guy being the number 1 overall draft pick who's a big DN. This is Colorado, who went 9-4, dominating at the top of college football. Do you think that has a trickle effect to a Baylor, to a Texas Tech, to the rest of the Big 12? Can we count on Colorado being a breadwinner for this conference?
Yes. If Deion is there, sure. Like, Deion is going to always attract that kind of talent. I mean, you're seeing it this year with their recruiting class, even with Shedeur and Travis out the door. They're reeling in some of the top high school talent in America. Yep. And we know that that's not even Deion's strength. His strength is the portal. So yes, I absolutely think that Colorado can be that. And therefore it probably does have a trickle down effect for everyone else. We talked about it on the Squad Show a couple of weeks ago, like Deion leaving the conference when we thought that was a real possibility is bad for business. It's bad for business for us writing headlines, but worse for, the product of football in this conference. So yeah, I absolutely can see that. And in terms of, and what I love about looking at NFL draft rather than, should this team get in here or should this guy get this kind of respect? Like, the NFL, for the most part, doesn't care what conference you come from. They don't care. They don't care what Kirk Herbstreit thinks of the conference. They don't care what teams should be in the college football playoff. They don't give I won't say it. Say it. It's a family program. But like, that's where you're going to start to see like a guy like Shedeur Sanders going 1 overall, possibly 1-2, by the way, in the Big 12, to where us as fans are like, yeah, dude, we know they can ball. Like, you know what I mean? The 2 quarterbacks facing off in the Super Bowl are Big 12 guys, for the second time in 3 years. The guy, the matchup last year was an all Big 12 matchup. So you can talk all we want about how this conference, it's not the big boys. Yeah, just the guys that succeed in the NFL. And I think Shedeur is going to succeed in the NFL. Number 1, it's tough. It's tough. I think they might like Cam Ward as well, but Ward is not as polished a quarterback as Shedeur Sanders is. Like, Shedeur, people they try to make him out to be something he's not. They think he's a diva because he's the coach's kid. And I think he's really slapped back that narrative most of this year. He kind of threw his teammates under the bus against Nebraska, but everything after that has been positive. He's been a leader. He gets thrown in as this dual threat gunslinger, and he's neither of those things. He's not a running threat. I don't know why that reputation has found him. And he's not a gunslinger. He completes 74% of his passes, man. That's like best in the country kind of stuff. And when you're looking for the NFL, this is an aside, but when you're looking for a quarterback at the NFL, accuracy is better than anything. So this is good for the Big 12, Drake.
He's good at the football. Looking at NFL, CBSSports.com's NFL mock draft, and what they have, I think this is the more fascinating storyline than even Shedeur being number 1 overall. They have Chris Trapasso has the Las Vegas Raiders trading up for the number 1 overall pick to select Shedeur Sanders. That almost feels, it doesn't almost, it is. It feels like a slap in the face to, according to reports, Las Vegas says they will not talk to Deion Sanders, not interested in Deion, despite his camp having interest in them. Then they draft up just to take his son. I know he's not about to pull a, was it Eli Manning that held out? I was like, I don't want to go play for you.
Did not want to play for San Diego.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to see that level, but his son gets drafted by the organization where we all thought, well, if his son does get drafted by them, certainly Deion will be the head coach. Now they didn't want him to be the head coach and they draft his son.
Deion has a part to play in this, by the way.
Yeah, okay.
He'll say what he can, but Deion has a part to play in all of this. The way that Archie Manning did for Eli, It happens, man. It happens. It would be weird.
It would not be, it'd be a little awkward, I think. Well, Tom Brady walks in the room, and that's the guy that didn't want Deion, and now you draft his son. Would that create a rift? Do you think, Nick Maravets was on the show yesterday on Locked On Big 12 and talked at length about how he's not worried about Deion's future success without Shedeur Sanders being in that program. Are you worried about Deion being the LeVar Ball of NFL dads?
Well, see, that was kind of the thing I was thinking of when you were winding up that question of, LeVar didn't get an assistant coaching job with the Lakers. It turned out okay. Nor the Hornets either, but I think he's big in that record company now. But see, here's where it's tough. LeVar was so easy to troll as NBA people. Yeah. You would just bring up his average like they do with Stephen A. Smith. Deion this shouldn't matter, but it does, is a Pro Football Hall of Famer. Yeah. And he's a very influential voice in football.
His 30 for 30. I don't know where we got an arc of Deion being bad guy, because in that 30 for 30 drop, people were like, yeah, man, that dude's badass.
Yes. And then he went back to villain, and now he's back kind of, I think, for the most part, in the good graces of the footballing public. That school thing in Texas. That was shady. So do I think he becomes that? Probably not. I do think Deion tries to stay out of it for the most part. I think he'll have something to do with where Shedeur goes in the draft in terms of they can control those interviews and everything. But I think he will more or less stay out of it, especially if he is still coaching at Colorado, which looks like it will be the case for a couple of years here. I don't think he'll put Shedeur into too much hot water. And you know what? If he does, Shedeur has shown he can kind of handle it. The things are going well at Colorado, but it is still more of a circus than most other programs in college football. And Shedeur lived up to the hype. He lived up to the expectations, and he led that team. And he was better than most people thought he was going to be, just thought Nepo baby. And they were better than most people thought they were going to be this year at Colorado. So I think Shedeur can handle it. I really do.
There's a great tweet probably a couple weeks ago that went viral. It said, brother just woke up from an 8-year coma. And the number one quote tweet was, tell him Braun's still going, which is a great quote tweet. The number 2 one was, first question, LeVar flopped, right? All the kids flopped, right? Tell me LeVar flopped. No. All 3 of them made it, though. One of them not on the basketball court.
Yeah. That is one of them's a sympathetic figure, which is wild. Lonzo should be having this great career right now. And that's the wildest of all. Not that the kid did anything wrong, but it's one of them's playing on a max contract. The other has the biggest song in the country right now. And the third one is a really good player who's never going to realize potential because of freak injuries.
What is it, Latvia or Lithuania? He's like, just don't send me back. Please don't send me back. Please,
God, no.
And LeVar went away. He stopped talking. He was like, I told you.
It's wild.
It is wild. Pretty darn cool. That's Cameron Stewart at Real Cam Stewart on the Bird app. Spell the Bird app, right?
Yeah. Larry Bird, yeah.
Things. This has been It Always Will Be Locked On. Thanks for making it your first listen every single day. Dose Grande.